favors to men in exchange for a few shillings to buy the sanitary towels. Our reporter Trixingado caught up with some of them and now tells us their story.
All of us were girls one time.
It is a dilemma that young girls, many from poor families, face every month. Some have to grapple with the choice between skipping school during that time of the month and offering sexual favors in exchange for money to buy sanitary towels. To avoid the monthly embarrassment, some girls are choosing to befriend young local men who in exchange gift them with sanitary towels, a duty some parents cannot afford or simply ignore.
If she doesn't have, she may end up using these mattresses, blankets or heavy materials and may end up using them. And after using them, you may see that it will affect them.
Mimi kama msichana, kenye nimepitia ni mengi, kosa hiyo sanitary towels. Mimi mwenyewe nishaitumia hizo kuvaa hizo panty baridi na panty mingi and then venye tulijoin hapa hivi watu wengi tu kwa tunaweza afford hiyo sanitary towels and then automatically kuna mwenye alishaiba alitubia hapa sanitary towels kwa kukosa hiyo pesa ya kununua pads. Sasa hapo hivyo unaweza ingia kwa kijana akikunini akikuapproach automatically utaingia box yake kwa sababu unajua hauna pesa za kununua pad.
Despite being the quick fix, this practice is exposing teenagers to the risk of teenage pregnancy and HIV infection. Fueling this problem is a persistent taboo surrounding menstruation. Surprisingly, a considerable section of the society still find the subject embarrassing to talk about, especially when teenage girls get a first visit from Aunt Flo unprepared.
When I went home and asked my mom, he told me that she don't have money to afford them. So I was forced to stay home for 5 days. And when I come back to school, I find my colleagues have continued the syllabus and they were in a discussion group and they were given some assignment and I was found I have not finished the assignment. Then I was punished and I was sent out of the class. Then my friends laughed at me because I was sent away from the class.
Ashamed and overwhelmed, some resort to stealing sanitary towels from their classmates rather than having that conversation with their parents who are preoccupied with putting food on the table.
Hata huko nyumbani ukimwambia mom ati una sanitary towels atakwambia kuna hapo kukula unataka school fees and then wewe unataka kununuliwa pad anakuambia sina pesa. Hapo hivyo pia utaona tu ni lazima tu ukue na rafiki mwenye anaweza kununulia hizo sanitary towels. Siwezi nikasema uongo but nishaikuwa hata niko na yeye mwenye aninunulianga hiyo pads mara mingi lakini si sana but saa zingine mama huwa ananiafodia.
In most high schools, students are expected to stand up while answering questions. A girl trying to hide stains would not participate in class, choosing to act dumb rather than answer questions. Concentration also shifts from classwork to have I stained my uniform? Or do they know? In mixed schools such as this one, ridicule from male classmates is yet another thing to worry about.
Wasichana wengine wanakuchekelea kama si hapa tuko mixed. Wavulana wanasema au kiringa mtu anakuambia sasa unaringa nini? Anawe pia hata hawezi afford pads. Sasa wanaambia hivyo. Wanakuambia ati unaringa nini na hata hauna pads, huwa unanuka tu kila wakati.
Since it is a monthly occurrence, pressure mounts. Skipping school or finding a boyfriend to buy you the precious sanitary towels becomes an attractive way out. Of course, the ideal candidate has to be older with money. Many wind up in the welcoming arms of unscrupulous motorcycle riders and pedophiles, happy to pay for the pads that cost around 80 shillings. Problem solved. Or is it?
In order to ensure that girls are staying in school and are able to concentrate on their learning, it was critical, therefore, the state provides for such services. And it's great and commendable that the Parliament has passed a law that gives free sanitary towels to schools so that girls will overcome this challenge.
Do you feel it needs to be prioritized?
Absolutely, it is critical. It's, like we say, whenever law is passed, it shouldn't stay in the book, but it should be implemented. And with that comes also resourcing, and so it's important that when they're approving the annual budgets, that it is a provision is made for schools. The Ministry of Education should be taken to task to ensure that they allocate resources for providing these towels for girls. Yeah.
The problem is, however, not restricted to Busia County. 65% of women in Kenya cannot afford sanitary towels. This is why the amendment of the Education Act signed into law by the President was a victory for many. Trix Ingado, KTN News.
Quite a story there by our reporter Trix Ingado. And just before we get into sports news, let's take a look at what's in store for you tomorrow in your Sunday Standard. Top on the stories, the gun attack